Hey everyone, what's up? Mr. Hancock here for your Comp 2 video. This is for fall, but I think this video can be used regardless of whatever semester for Comp 2 here, dealing with generally just with the rhetorical analysis assignment in Unit 1. So let's get to it here. I'm going to click on over to course content, over to Week 1 rhetorical analysis. This video, after I complete it, will be found inside of Week 1. So here we are, Week 1. I already have the rhetorical analysis assignment up. Read the handout, watch the video. Here we go. So this is going to go into the deeper portions of the rhetorical analysis assignment handout. So let me pull that up. Get rid of some of this stuff here. Don't save. Alright, so here we are. Here's the rhetorical analysis again. In Week 3 on Sunday, that's when the outline will be due. Y'all, let me express to you right now, now is when outlines are going to be very, very important. You do not want to jump the gun and go straight into a rough draft, complete that, because what happens often when people try to do that is that they'll just skip through all this content here, not pay any attention, not watch videos, do the rough draft, and come to find out they completely did the rough draft wrong. And now they've spent hours of writing, and they're going to have to start over. So the reason we go through these steps together and we do an outline is to help us work out the kinks, catch the major problems that we have, and take care of those before we devote tons of time to writing. So we want to make sure we do the thesis and the outline assignment, okay? So more on that here in a few minutes. But anyway, there it is. Again, this assignment is you're going to go, and I say internet research for this. It could be something very basic. Dig around on the internet. I'm not saying it's got to be a perfect, wonderful source or anything like that, but we're looking for an argument. We're looking for something in an area of interest. So number one, you've got to think about, where is my career going? Where do I want it to go? Where do I wish I could go? Heck, a dream job. And think in terms of, I want to do this, or I'm interested in this career field. Then now start looking for problems in that career field, okay? What are people currently, right now, arguing about and talking about? Where are people trying to go with certain things, okay? So look around on the internet and see what you can find. It doesn't matter if you agree with this argument or that you find. It doesn't matter if you disagree. None of that matters. All that matters right now is you find an argument on the internet, and I'll help you with that as we go. But you just simply want to dig around and find an argument. Of course, you may be asking, what the heck is an argument? So if we go back over here to Blackboard for just a second, you'll notice here in their Lecture Notes 1, it's the Composition 2 Analytical Essay Writing document. That document here talks about what an argument is, how you go about putting an argument together. This will help us later with argument, but it also gives you an idea as to what an argument is. An argument is when you pick an argument out, or pick someone's article or website argument, whatever, out on the internet, you're looking for someone that's writing something in order to persuade you to see something or persuade you to believe something, okay? You are the audience as the reader, and they are the author, and they are trying to convince you of whatever it may be, okay? It has to be opinionated. It has to directly put an opinion out there and then provide evidence, provide support to back it up, okay? So that's what you need to find, okay? You do not want informational pieces, like an encyclopedia or Wikipedia entry, okay? That is just simply basic information, expository information where someone's just telling you what happened. It has no opinion in it. Avoid that. That's only going to set you up for failure with this paper. You have to find something to where someone has a direct opinion about what's going on, okay? About whatever it may be, all right? So this handout here will help you, and later we'll talk deeper into that about what an argumentative thesis may look like, and so on like that, okay? So anyway, back over here to the assignment sheet itself. You have to go find that article. And when you do, you are going to go in and you are going to explain to your audience the types of techniques and tricks, if you want to call it that, that one particular person does. So let's just say that I'm really excited, and I'm going to, let's just do a basic Google search here. Let's look for, let's just do something like I'm going to say weed. Not a professional way to put it, but still. Something really quick there. Okay. So, see, this is just informational stuff. We don't want that. We don't want that. See, a lot of this is not going to help us right now, okay? Because it's just informational, Wikipedia and so on. We don't want that there. So I'm going to come up here and put in argument. Okay? Here's something from Forbes. Arguments for or against procon.org. This is a great place to go. That's a great website. Boom, right there. There it is. I have found an argument. Now, I'm going to tell you now, do not go to something cliche like illegal immigration or legalization of marijuana or gay marriage or, I don't know, I'm trying to think of all these, and I say cliche because people have written papers on these for years, okay? Ever since I was in high school back in the 90s and so on. These have always been easy go-tos. Now, I'm not saying that you can't go into one of these areas, but if you do, you're going to have to take an original, creative approach to this. So I say try to avoid that and focus on an area of an issue in a particular field of study, a field of careers and stuff like that, okay? But anyway, I just go to show you, and that's a great place to start right there is procon.org. Boom, that can help you out, okay? So, heck, you can just put in procon.org. That's going to take me right there. Boom, right there, all right? You can look for anything in that area that can help you out, but you don't have to go there either, okay? Nevertheless, that's where we want to try to start off, all right? Now, once you find an argument, so let's just say, hey, I found an awesome argument on here. I agree with it, or I don't agree with it, or it's kind of okay as far as whether or not my opinion works. Remember, opinions don't matter. That's not what you're analyzing. You're not going to agree. You're not going to pick up where this person left off and talk about how awesome they are and they're correct. We're not worrying about if they're correct or incorrect. What we're looking for is their techniques, okay? Remember, like the last video, the person writing that article that we just saw is the magician doing a magic trick. My job would be to show my audience how he does that trick, show his techniques, show what he really does behind how the sleight of hand, all that stuff works, okay? That's your job here. You're showing how the technique, how the trick is done. So, with that being said, there are some things to consider when you're going forward with this, all right? The rhetorical situation. Y'all, there's all kinds of stuff to really consider, and this isn't anything new. If you really listen, you'll notice that argument always falls in this area and deals with this, even if you're just having a conversation with someone. And that's the way, kind of how you have to think about this, like an argumentative conversation. It's nothing new. You've done this before. But with a rhetorical situation, you got to think about how everything adds up and supports the situation for an argument, okay? You have to keep in mind and think about the relationship between the author and the topic of what's going on, the context in which we're speaking, and the audience, and the type of text that we're giving them, and everything. All of that stuff matters, okay? So everything from say you have a drug ex-con writing in Rolling Stones to a younger generation about how you need to avoid drugs, okay? All of those things matter, not just the small argument itself, but who wrote it, the format they're writing it, the intended audience, the context. Everything matters in that sense. So you have to really keep that stuff in mind when you're looking at arguments, okay? The goal of the argument. You need to identify with this person. What is this person trying to accomplish? What is this person's goal when it comes to this argument here? Again, audience. Keep that in mind. We just mentioned that. Who is this written for? And you have to really think about this because this is going to matter. If you have an argument that's written for, professor, MD professor doctors at UAMS compared to someone taking a biology class in the 7th grade, that's going to completely determine the type of text you get, the argument you get, the level of difficulty, and everything. The medium, how it's posted, okay? Depending on the audience and how it's posted, is it a TikTok video? God help us that it's not. But you can get the point. You're going to get something different there in that medium than you would, say, a deep podcast or whatever on YouTube. And especially if you're getting something on a website or so on, okay? And then the most important thing that I want to stress to y'all, and this is what's really going to build your body. Coming week 2, I'm going to supply you with more content on what your like an outline, a more specific outline that I think can help you, some examples and everything, show you how this works. But these are the parts that's really going to matter when it comes to your argument, okay? Or not argument, excuse me, your analysis of the argument. So, looking at these 3 appeals, what we call the appeals of argument, okay? Meaning that when you are going in to argue your case, you are going to appeal to a certain thing inside of the audience, okay? And so, here are the 3. Ethos is a possibility. It's a credibility ethics argument, okay? Now, it does lead credence, but this is not a good thing to base your argument upon because that's when you fall into what we call a fallacy, and that's just a faulty argument. and it could be an appeal to authority. You ever heard someone say, like the phrase, "Trust me, I'm a doctor"? What you're trying to say is just put all your trust in the fact that I'm a doctor, not on facts, not on situation, nothing but the fact that I'm a doctor. Or if I were to come in, and I wouldn't do this, but if I ever came in and said, "You need to listen to me because I'm the teacher." Just because I'm the teacher, that alone doesn't make me right, okay? And that's just with everything. We don't want to do that, but regardless, you may see somebody doing that. And that's what I want to show you. Your whole goal in this paper is to say, hey, this person is appealing to ethos and trying to get people to see he's correct by appealing to the fact that he is an expert or has experienced this his or herself, okay? And then you would provide the example from the argument and show us that, okay? More on that later. Logos. This is the most important one. I'll come to that next. The next one is pathos. This is very rampant, and I say rampant in a negative way because people use it in the wrong way, and it's bad. And that's argument based on emotion. And if you've ever had buyer's remorse or anything like that before, you know that making decisions on emotion is a very bad idea. And that's what this does. It's trying to get you and sell you something based on your emotions. Now, we're all humans and we have emotions and we can't devoid ourselves of that. And so it's not a bad thing to touch on someone's heartstrings there. But when you specifically just use emotion to get someone whipped up to do something, it's a very bad thing. One example of this, and I'm not saying this is bad, but it's just an example of ethos, is if you've ever remember the ASPCA, I think I'm saying that wrong, with all the dogs and any of the animals that are mistreated and doing bad, and they want you to donate to help support the animals, and it's sad. And if you watch that old commercial, I don't know if they still play it, but it would be like really slow-mo, and this one-eyed dog would look up at the camera sad, and there'd be like a Sarah McLachlan song going on in the background. And it was just like, make you want to cry and pull out your debit card and call them. And that's what that is. It's an appeal to pathos. It's appeal to your emotion, okay? So being able to identify that, not only is it good for this assignment, but man, it's an amazing skill to have when you listen to someone trying to sell you something. What are they trying to do? They're trying to appeal to your just emotions and get you mad about something and whipped up and worked up to go do something? Or are they really trying to get you to think about something? And then, finally, logos. This is the one that you want to look for because this is one you theoretically should see most of. And that is an appeal to logic, and it's appeal to reason, providing evidence and support and showing how that evidence and support and logic leads to the conclusion. And that's what a good mark of a good argument, I would say. But you may not see it, okay? You might find an article that is nothing but pathos. That's fine. You're not writing it. I'm not grading that. I'm just grading your ability to identify these particular appeals and analyze how that author puts that argument forth. You might find something that's nothing but logos. Great. You do not have to find ethos, logos, and pathos in the argument that you choose. And do not devote just one paragraph to each one. Number one, you'll only have 3 body paragraphs, which will be too short. And you're probably not going to find something with a perfect example of all 3. You might find just one that has I got one good pathos example, but the rest of my examples are logos. Perfect. Do that. That's fine, okay? And this will make a little bit more sense when I have my next video and the handouts ready for that as well, okay? All right, more on those to come. The last part is summary versus analysis. I want to go into this. We are not summarizing anything this semester. That's one of the killers for content in the body, is retelling the story. Don't retell me what that article says. Do not give me a plot summary of that other argument. Just imagine that I've already read it. I don't need you to read it back to me. I'm not being rude. I'm just saying you have to imagine the reader really being like this with you. And the reader saying to you, I've already read that. I don't need you to read that back to me. What I need you to do is go in there and tell me what kind of techniques this person's trying to use to convince to me. What tricks is this person using on me, the audience, okay? That's what you need to do, and that's what you need to try for, okay? Definitely avoid summary. All right, y'all. So that's that. I'm going to continue here in a few minutes with another video going deeper, but if you don't see it, I'll decide to put it in week 2. But anyway, for the time being, there it is. Thank you very much. If you have questions, y'all, please let me know as soon as possible. Do not wait till the last minute to do this research. Start now, week 1. Start digging. Thank you.